And teachers spoke out tonight about a proposed 4-day school week in the Kingsley-Pierson school district.
That's right. And tonight's forum actually gave us some insight in Kingsley, and it allowed for questions about a plan under consideration that would reduce the school week from 5 days to 4 days. KTV's Sophie Wyckoff joins us live in studio tonight. So Sophie, what did parents and teachers ask about tonight?
Yeah, during tonight's meeting, which lasted 2 hours, people expressed concerns about daycare needs, school lunches, and after-school activities if the Kingsley-Pierson School Board adopted the 4-day school week. Iowa requires 1,080 hours of instruction during a school year. If Kingsley-Pierson makes this switch, those hours will be distributed over 4 days each week, with their Mondays off. In that situation, those school days would be 45 minutes longer. Parents raised concern at tonight's public forum, specifically the mother of a 5th grader who spoke out during the meeting, expressing her concerns about early busing and early morning for her child.
Instead of getting on at 7:15, he'd be getting on the bus at 6:45 up to 6:35, which means, right now we wake him up at the last minute we can at 6:30, to get on the bus. So he's waking up at 10 years old, realistically at 10 or 11 years old by 5:45. So I don't know what student needs to get up before 6 o'clock at that young of age, but that's just my opinion as a mom.
Other questions that were brought up revolved around concerns for lunches still being provided, childcare amongst parents on those Mondays, and overall changes that will impact students, staff, and families.
Their parents in the community, their community members, whatever their role may be, it's valid. It's something that needs to be heard, and they're a stakeholder, and so they're important to us, and we want them to complete that survey.
After the public forum, a survey went out to all the staff, students, parents, and community members. It's open for 1 week to ensure everyone has the opportunity to provide their thoughts and feedback on the 4-day school week.